All right, Mike, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, I can close that now.
Now, live on the fabulous interweb. PTR Radio. This is PTR Radio with Colin.
When I cut grass, I listen to the Colin show. I mean, just because when I cut grass, I know what they're saying, but plus I'm not missing that much.
PTR Radio.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of PTR Radio here on the fabulous interweb. That's right. It's been a whole 2 weeks. Who'd have thunk it? I know I didn't. Last night, I was like, show tomorrow. Got to watch 2 movies. I thought that at 8:30.
Oh. Oh, man.
That's okay, because I was up until 1 anyway. And then I had to wake up early. I suck. Reflected by my new haircut.
Yes.
So, yeah. All right. Anybody?
That looks like an easy to take care of haircut, though.
Okay. So, let me ask you.
Uh-huh.
You can guess which one this is. Is this haircut A, result of a bet? B, my wife wanted me to change up my style and act my age? Or C, I told the barber the wrong clipper setting?
I'm going to go with C only because I have done that myself.
I would have guessed. I have never done clippers, but I'm going to guess C.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
What number did you tell him?
I told him, I think last time we went with a 3 on the sides and a 4 on top. And he goes, really? I'm like, yeah, I think so. Okay. You should question me more when I say that. You're the professional. I am the idiot sitting in the chair paying you money to do your job.
The funny part is I always get number 1 on the sides in the back when I get my hair cut.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell him just a half inch on top. Leave a half inch.
Mm-hmm.
And the one time I did go in, I thought I knew what I was talking about, and I said 1 on the sides, 4 on the top.
Yeah.
Should have been a 7 because apparently the numbers are not consistent across clipper brands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't even get me started on the animal side of clippers because number 10, which would be relatively long for us, number 10 is like right down to the skin on a dog.
So it looked worse. I'll do this. So it looked a lot worse than what this is, which I think looks bad. My wife said, "Oh no, you look dapper." I'm like, I look like a dog with mange is what I look like. All right, because I have bald spots, which means I have hair spots, which means it looks patchy. All right, at least to some degree, right? Especially when I'm looking down, it's really noticeable. But it did look worse than this. And then he turned the chair around, and he goes, "That's shorter than you thought it would be on top, isn't it?" And I said, yeah. Any recommendations?" And he goes, "Well, I think we could go shorter on the sides, and maybe it wouldn't look so out of place." Okay, let's go even shorter. Because the last time I had hair this short, I was under 1, So yeah, so that's what, and this is like a week's worth of growth on this. It was much worse.
Yeah.
It was much, much worse to where the point of I wore hats inside. I wore my cabbie hat to work for 2 days and didn't take it off.
Depending how good the hat looks, People don't notice nowadays.
Yeah.
Just
So
your style. I'm wearing this hat. I used to wear a hat.
so
I used to wear a hat all the time.
so yeah. I will say this though. It's kind of growing on me a little bit. I do the short sides I do like. Okay? I really do like the short sides.
Fezzes are cool.
Yeah. It's just the top that bugs me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I have two choices. I could either shave it completely off, and just be bald, or I could keep it not quite this short, but I could keep it a little bit, just a touch longer, and it wouldn't look as bad. Because honestly, with my longish hair, I realized it did not look very good. It looked like a comb over, like I was attempting a comb over, even though consciously I was not doing that.
Yes.
I was just styling my hair the way I'd always styled my hair for my entire life. It just so happened that it was covering up where hair wasn't anymore.
You should just instead say it's a mistake.
I have the solution for you.
Okay, go ahead, Mike.
I have the solution for you.
Okay. Is it a Floby? Because I need a Floby. A Guy Fieri hat? Yeah. Yeah, that would that might fix it, at least temporarily.
I should just say that it was a reset.
Yeah.
You're resetting it, and then you're going to see where you want it to go from there.
The funny
just like
part,
a doctor.
The funny part was I had to run by my mom's anyway after I got my hair cut. So I ran by there, and she went, "Oh," and I'm like, "That's not the response your mom's supposed to give you." It's supposed to be a caring response of, "Oh, what happened?" Not "Oh." And then I went, "Yeah, it's not what I wanted, but it's what I got." Can't put it back on once you take it off. Unfortunately, they haven't come up with a good glue for that. Then I came home, and the wife was much more accepting of it than I was. So, but hey, it is what it is. So,
yeah. See, for me, I mean, I very rarely get my hair cut. I like it's time to get it cut. But for years, the same woman cut my hair. Like I don't know, must have been 12 years of her cutting my hair. Yeah. And then for various reasons, one of them being she retired. I stopped having her cut my hair. And then, so for years it was, I want a haircut. She cuts my hair. That's it.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to tell people what I want done to my hair. And I'm just like, I just want a haircut.
And that's kind of what happened to me. I had an old Chinese lady that used to cut my hair, Sue. And, I just go in and Sue does it. I don't even have to tell her anything. She just knows how I want it. The wife really liked the way that she cut my hair. She was very happy with it. And, and it was relatively cheap. It was, now, well, Sue died. So I have to find a new place to get my hair cut. And, it's difficult. It's like doctors. Yeah. It's just like primary care doctors, okay? It is such a hassle when your doctor retires.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I have a better option for you.
Okay.
This is styling, bro. This is styling.
All right, let's see here. To bring it up because Slack didn't want to do a picture. Oh no, I don't think so.
This is Nick Cannon, right here, man.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, that might be Nick Cannon's.
I'm not doing that.
No,
I'm not even putting that on the screen. Not doing that.
We're here on The Masked Singer. I hate how I love that show. I'm embarrassed to admit that I love that show. But I cringed every time he said that word because it's like he added an extra G. Singer. Singer. The Masked Singer.
No.
And since Shaggy won't put it up, I put up the Nick Cannon turban.
Yeah.
That...
So we probably need to talk about what we did before the previous show that we forgot to talk about.
Yeah, we didn't. Colin and I had another field trip.
Yes.
We liked.
Yes, you guys did.
It's a good field trip, and it got me to thinking about our other bigger, longer field trip actually, which I got some. We may have to do some discussion about that one. Our trip to go see Mike is the bigger, longer field trip. But Colin and I went to go see Lewis Black the Sunday before our last show.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest with you guys, I thought he was dead already. I thought for sure that man had a heart attack by now.
Well, he is the same as he's always been. Nothing is ever going to really change with Lou. He's 70 years old, so it wouldn't surprise me if sometime he does have an aneurysm. But it was a good show. I will say the opener. I don't think I mentioned this on the show. The opener I thought was not very good.
Yeah.
His opening act, I was hoping, I'm like, oh, please let it be Kathleen Madigan. They travel together a lot. It would be so awesome if it was Kathleen Madigan. This would be one of my greatest achievements ever if it was Kathleen Madigan and then Lewis Black. But it wasn't.
No. We did get a mention of Kathleen Madigan.
Yes. But it wasn't. It was basically the guy that runs his web stream that came out and opened for him, because I heard the voices and they were exactly the same. Who came out and did essentially repeated material. All right. I had heard those jokes from other comedians before. Honestly, a little bit better told. He did a good job on setup, and if you weren't familiar with the jokes, you probably believed them. And it's not like they weren't good jokes. I knew them, so they weren't terribly hilarious.
Yeah.
There was a couple of things in there that I don't know if they were recycled or if they were actually his, but they were fewer and further between. So, just not my favorite opening act.
No, it's like the equivalent of if he had a black comedian came out and then start doing jokes about Jell-O pudding pops.
Yeah, pretty much. When we went and saw Jerry Seinfeld, I thought I liked his opener better than Lou's. And it's weird because, if you're going to have a bad opener, okay, just have a local guy. At least then it'll have home field advantage.
And there's lots of good local guys.
It's funny because friends of mine went to see Kevin James.
What'd you say? I can't hear you, Mike.
I'm sorry.
I still can't hear you. What'd you do? Did you mute yourself again? Because nothing changed here.
No.
He was quieter earlier when he first was showing us the hats. And then he's gone completely.
How did that happen?
I can say that for sure. I did not see Shaggy touch anything, jiggle anything, click
Neither
anything.
did I.
Oh. Say something, Mike.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. How is that?
Oh, I do see your audio coming through here.
Ah.
It's weird though that I'm not hearing it.
Mama Blair, are you hearing me?
Say something one more time.
Check 1 2. Test 1 2. 1 2.
And it's going out the stream, but we don't hear it.
Oh, well, that'd be okay if it's on the. Well, let me.
Okay.
Mama Blair says she can hear me.
I don't know. I don't know what the heck just happened there, Mike. I can't. Hold on. Colin's making sure that he can actually hear you on the stream, so just keep talking.
I just listened. I know I can hear.
Nope.
I just heard myself through.
All right,
so.
that's. Don't know why.
Yes, you are definitely on the stream.
Okay. Well.
Oh, hold on. Say something again.
What did you do? Did you kick something?
Literally, I pushed a plug in at less than 1/8 of an inch more.
Well, any amount the plug goes in is all right. Is good.
There we go.
So as I started to say.
All right. Sorry about that.
friend, oh, you're like, what did you do? I'm like, dude, I'm sitting here touching my mouse. That's it. And that's not a euphemism either. Friends of mine they went to see Kevin James.
Yeah.
King of Queens. And his brother, who played his cousin Danny on the show, was his opening act. And supposedly his brother is funnier at stand-up than Kevin is.
Really? Huh.
And people thought that his brother was a lot more personable, actually like interacted with the audience, whereas Kevin was like just there to, hey, I'm Kevin, I'm gonna do my thing and don't anybody touch me or talk to me or nothing.
That's weird because I saw a Kevin James stand-up act and it was good, but I mean that's a produced thing, polished. Doing it live in front of somebody completely different. Like as an example, Town Square Media, a big radio conglomerate. They've got, stations all over the country. They got hit with cryptoware about 2 weeks ago, actually. I think it was on the Monday that we recorded. So their stations, they had like 20 stations that went down hard.
Ooh.
Okay? So they had no music on their computers. They had no automation software. They had no spots, no jingles, no nothing. The only thing that they could do was go on the air live. So, it wasn't a problem as much for some of the talk shows, which were used to talking, all right, nonstop. But you throw in like a top 40 radio morning show who's used to 2 minutes of happy chat and then 15 minutes worth of songs. Oh, they had problems. But even the official talk radio shows, it was interesting because one of them is the Free Beer and Hot Wing show that I listened to. All right, they had to do what we do every show. All right, no breaks, no easy transitions because it's easy to use a commercial break as a transition from one topic to the other. But whereas we 2 hours plus on a show where we used to take a mid break. We don't do that anymore, and we just have to keep going. And it's just us three. They have 5 people to keep the conversation going and to keep everything active, right? And so it was interesting for me because I got to listen to the recordings afterwards, trying to hear these professionals do a long-form morning show with absolutely no crutches, all right? And then contrast that to us.
Oh, Lord. Okay. I was with you until contrast... And
honestly, we're not that bad. We're pretty darn good. I'd say we're a C+.
Well, we've been doing it long enough and we don't have broadcasting degrees, so I should hope, Jesus, there's got to be improvement at some point. Holy crap, just law of averages.
So, to the two of us, we've now seen Jerry Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen Louis Black. We've seen some other comedy things from other people, but those are the two we've now seen.
Dylan Moran, I thought was
we had
was a
people.
big name, yeah.
Yeah, but I think one thing was interesting about both Jerry Seinfeld and Louis Black is that they are both very good at working on the fly. They're not just going up and regurgitating the same stuff every time. Yeah, they do. They maybe they have a prepared set, but they're fine with deviating from the set. As an example, Louis Black at the end of every show, rather than coming out and doing an encore set, he comes out and does a segment called The Rant is Due on every single show. And it's submissions from the audience, so it's kind of an interesting topic. So what he does is before the show starts, they give you a website that you can go to and you can post your rant. All right. And then at the end of the show, Lou goes through and he reads those rants and kind of breaks them down a little bit and adds a little twist to them or whatever. And then basically regurgitates those, with his spin on them a little bit. So some of the ones here were like, it only makes sense that Springfield has a Prairie Heart Center, cardiac center, because our town food is the horseshoe, which is a hamburger covered in fries, covered in cheese sauce. And then Seinfeld, we didn't talk about this last time, but because I wanted to confirm that he wasn't always doing this, and so I have found confirmation in the show. Seinfeld did 2 shows, and in the show that Shaggy and I was at, someone in the audience actually, when Seinfeld paused for a second, somebody in the audience shouted out a request for some bit that Seinfeld hasn't done in years.
Yeah, it's like a 20-year-old bit that he did. It's called the Halloween bit.
And so Seinfeld, makes fun of the guy, and then he decides, just for the heck of it, he does the bit. A bit he has not done in 20 years, he does word for word the entire bit. He still had it memorized.
Yeah, I mean he struggled a little bit, but he made it fun because he made the audience fill in the gaps, And he started off as, really there's a lead up, then there's a joke, and then there's a follow up. He goes, but okay, we'll just do this. We'll do it right now. So, I mean, it was, and I can see where good comedians have to learn how to deal with that because, like Lou had to deal with a couple of hecklers, and I was really surprised one guy didn't get thrown out.
Yeah,
I think it was like
I love
one more from getting thrown out.
We're on that level. I call him Lou.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, it's better than Mr. Black.
But so what other going on now on a different tangent?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things Shaggy and I discussed that I thought would be good show materials, we're discussing what do we do when we're having trouble sleeping?
Yeah. How do you, when you need to go in and you need to reset your sleep pattern? How do you reset? Because we all have things that, normally every night you go to sleep just fine, but every once in a while you get into these like insomniatic spells or like sleep interrupted spells, and you've got that go-to move that resets you back into the right groove. Or at least for me, that's how it works. Like right now, I've been waking up at like 2:00 in the morning, and then I'll wake up a couple more hours later for some strange reason. It's not very long. It's like 5-10 minutes, and then I'm back asleep again. But it interrupts your sleep. So what I have to do to reset, and to stay asleep and to get myself back into the regular sleep rhythm that I'm used to is a little odd, but I go to sleep listening to comedy routines that I basically have memorized. Okay, so Kathleen Madigan, I have all of her albums memorized. Louis Black, I have just about all of his albums memorized. Christopher Titus, I have almost all of his albums memorized. All right, so I can pick any one of them. And if I go to sleep with that, it's about an hour and a half long sets is what most of those are. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, and I also have to sleep by myself. It's a night away from the marital bedroom because I need an absolutely dark room. I need that just playing on my phone. I can't sleep with headphones in, and that's what I need. And with doing that, within 1, maybe 2 nights at the most, I'm reset and I'm good to go, and I'm okay for a while again.
And I would say that would not work for me because if I have something I'm listening to that I already know by heart, then my brain is just going to get in the groove of that. It's going to expect everything there. I've been using this podcast called Sleep With Me.
Which turns out is not a swingers podcast.
No, it is not. As a podcast to help you go to sleep. And I first heard about it on NPR when I was driving to work one day. And I find that extremely good at getting you to sleep.
And what was interesting was he mentioned that, and I said, "Oh, is that the one that Matthew McConaughey is on?" Because it turns out Matthew McConaughey did a reading for a similar app.
Mm-hmm.
Basically reads you nonsense bedtime stories to go to sleep.
And I said, it's sort of, but it's not nearly as good.
So Mike, what's your reset or your go-to sleep, formula?
Drugs and alcohol.
All right. Combination of...
Look, either not at the same time, one or the other. If I'm having, seriously, like the last couple of nights I've tossed and turned, and okay, so my Fitbit, I wear this stupid thing and it tracks my sleep, and I wake up in the morning, I'm like, you lie, because I remember looking at the clock distinctly, staring at the clock. Apparently laying still is enough to qualify as sleeping.
Yep.
Who knew? So
that's okay. I found all kinds of movements that qualify as walking with my tick watch. So
well, yeah.
Woo! Putting in 10,000 steps is easy.
Yeah, just try just holding a sawzall or a hammer drill.
Yeah,
for a little bit.
Airing.
I was doing
airing up a bicycle
in
pump
the backyard. Yeah, I have to rebuild part of my deck in the back. I was pulling up the old deck boards, and that 10,000 steps easily. Anyway,
yeah.
No, so the last couple of nights I've been tossing and turning pretty much all night long, and I told Kim tonight. I said I need a pill tonight, and by that I mean diazepam, just to shut my mind off so that I can go to sleep. Because 9 times out of 10, when I can't sleep, it's because my mind is racing on 7,000 different topics at once.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
And usually it's set off when I go down the YouTube rabbit holes. So that's what happens like during the work week if I need to reset. If I get to Saturday and I know I'm going to have to, I'm still having trouble sleeping, I'm going to get fish naked. I'm going to have a couple of shots of tequila or something. And that usually does the trick. So yeah, I as sad as it sounds, drugs and alcohol, man, those are my choices.
Well, at some point it's like whatever will work. It's sad, but it's true.
I have friends who are like, yeah, melatonin at work. Yeah, melatonin. I laugh in the face of melatonin.
Yeah. Now is diazepam?
I got this stuff off of the Valium.
Okay, I didn't know if that and Lunesta were the same or not. I didn't know if she had to lock you in a safe room because
I've never tried Lunesta. I've never tried what's that other one that people have ridiculous crazy dreams on?
I usually heard of Lunesta.
Yeah, Ambien.
Ambien too. Yeah.
Never had any of those. You guys are talking about like the comedy routines, and I guess that's kind of every night for me though, because Kim and I fall asleep with the TV on, with the sleep timer, watching TV Land, and it's all reruns of shows that we have seen every single episode.
Yeah.
So sometimes you'll get that show that comes on that, okay, I know this episode, so I'm going to stay. If I'm awake, I'm going to turn my attention to the TV because I want to see that scene.
Yeah.
In this episode, but 9 times out of 10, that doesn't happen.
See, and my wife, recently especially has started to turn the TV off when it gets late. So that's nice because she used to be a TV sleeper, but it was like Hallmark mysteries or Hallmark Christmas shows, and I'm like, those are the hardest things to actually look away from.
Yeah, and the light from the TV doesn't help.
Oh yeah, because it's always Christmas, so it's always stupid bright.
Well, and this is when I would get mad. Like TV Land. Okay, so for the longest time, it was George Lopez, and then Everybody Loves Raymond, I think. Then they bumped George Lopez, put Everybody Loves Raymond, King of Queens. Then they had Mom in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
Then they had now it's what? Everybody Loves Raymond, Big Bang Theory, then King of Queens. Every once in a while they'll throw in that special show like Teachers or some crap that I don't care and don't want to see, or Younger, or Get Off My TV.
Mm-hmm.
when I would get home from hockey at 2 a.m., the Goldbergs would be on. But they'd screw us up. Oh, Friends for the longest time. Friends was one of the shows. I could tell you every episode of Friends, front to back, every line, who said it, where it took place. I saw like every season. When they change it up, it's like screwing up that's like the clock's changing. It's screwing up the sleep schedule.
Mm-hmm. So, it's just... I mean, everybody's got their own little thing that resets.
I'm going to see if I if this on my microphone here.
Yeah.
Requiem for a Dream, Happy Gilmore. It looks like he's in a couple movies coming out soon. Law and Order, you've probably seen him on. Again, I get him mixed up with Joe Piscopo, but that's only because it's because it's me.
Oh Jesus!
Let's see. I lost my list. We're back in the bridge.
That's just annoying.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you. I now get it. Because a long time ago, back before we started PTR Independent, where I joined the show and I was still doing the 8-man comments. Racist Dave's wife used to tell me that if she couldn't sleep, they would put on my
show. What? No bigger endorsement than I put on your show to fall asleep.
Yeah, I'm sure the Collins show. I'm sure is extremely effective. But this guy spends he spends 20 hours an episode.
That's why I said it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, wait, that don't sound like McConaughey. That sounds like, good Lord, I could just read
that one
novels
wasn't. That wasn't McConaughey. But
that was not McConaughey.
I could probably just grab like articles from like Boing Boing or something and read them and put them out there as a podcast, and people will go to sleep to it.
The
reason that podcast is so good is that he is almost interesting.
Here is a clip of McConaughey's. Hopefully this.
Well, hello there. I'm Matthew McConaughey, and tonight I'll be reading a special sleep story called Wonder. Before we begin, as you settle in under the covers with your head easing into the pillow and your body sinking into the mattress,
and you thinking about your wonderful Lincoln. Yeah, I mean, that's just... Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I can listen to McConaughey while I go to sleep.
What's the thing?
Because I'd just be looking for him to go, all right. Now you're asleep. All right. Moving on. We got to get to some topics.
The lights are out. The lights are out. The moon is up. Now go to F to sleep. All right. All right.
Go ahead, Colin.
Seriously, for anybody who's having trouble sleep, try any of these methods.
Yes. Just
maybe not the medicine method.
Well, you can try the medicine method if it works for you.
That's not
if it's doctor approved,
solution.
Yes,
doctor approved is a long-term solution.
Yeah. Yes, don't
try the binge drinking
method.
method.
Mike school of thought there. It's not.
Or if you do, don't follow the Elvis version of waking up as well. Well, we know those two don't work well together. So, all right, moving on. Okay. We have 2 school-related stories. I want you to pick one, either topless teacher or principal keeping kids in school.
I'd like to just interject something before we move on.
Uh-huh.
Because I can do this since Shaggy will not rip his hair out.
Yep.
Right after the show last week, Netflix officially announced that The Umbrella Academy was renewed for a 2nd season.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
I am disappointed. that it was renewed because they said all of the cast are coming back to reprise their roles, which means they're not going to be younger versions of themselves.
No.
Which,
when they said all the cast, they included the children version actors. If you read that, they included everybody younger and older in that announcement. So they may flip the screen time of them, Mm-hmm. So that could answer your question. Now,
and younger monkey.
But in actually, we'll take a short sidebar here. In other streaming news, thanks to Disney's profit or shareholders meeting, we now know more information about Disney Plus, and we may have to add it to our double feature movie review list, because I think I'm going to be forced to subscribe to it if it really is $6.95 a month, which is what it's currently slated to cost, because they're trying to undercut Netflix in price and do better than them in content. Now, the content is questionable, but people are complaining that they shot themselves in the foot because they announced that there's a Loki series coming out, which means Loki isn't dead. All right, there's a black. Yeah, I know, shocker. We already knew Tom Hiddleston's contract, so it's not a friggin' crazy thing to know. They also said that there's a Black Widow and a Hawkeye series that's coming out on that as well. So whether they actually star the movie stars or not is questionable, because it depends on the time frame that they're going to do those in. And there is a Falcon one as well. So people were pissed because they're like, well, we know all these characters are going to live unless they're going to do prequels of all of them, which would just be silly.
Yeah. Well, we already know that. Well, all right. So, yeah, but Disney, they have a very big back library to work with.
Yeah.
And slowly you're going to see a lot of this stuff just start to disappear off of other streaming services.
Oh yeah,
as the contracts are up. So
yeah, they're just not going to renew with Netflix.
Well, yeah, like all of the Marvel movies that are on Netflix now, eventually they're just going to drop off and they're going to be on Disney Plus only. I get that. So, in time, will I subscribe?
Yeah,
probably.
I'm like, okay, maybe I dump Hulu and get that. Since right now I'm still a Hulu
I don't
subscriber.
have Hulu. I have Netflix and I have Amazon Prime. And to me, Amazon Prime Video is not actually a subscription video.
It's not an expense. Side benefit. Yeah. Prime Video is just an addition.
Yeah, I'm paying for Prime. I'm getting the video as a perk. That's the way I look at that one.
Now the only thing that's going to change that is if they do if they neuter it like they did Prime Music. Where they say, oh, well, only some videos are available for regular Prime subscribers, and if you want more, then you have to be a Prime Plus movie subscriber type thing, Yeah. But I don't know that right now they don't have the catalog to really do that in the first place. So I don't know that they do that anyway.
I think they're just starting to get to the realm where they have originals that they could start doing. Yeah. But honestly, I don't think they will.
No,
I don't think they're going to do that.
One of their biggest, although we did hear a little bit of news about Amazon, we'll just do a streaming break here shortly. The Grand Tour, which is their big, the guys from Top Gear. I know Mike hates that show. They were signed for 3 seasons. They just wrapped up their 3rd season, and it's been announced that they are at least going to do 2 more seasons in a different format.
Yeah, just specials.
Yeah, it's just going to be specials. There'll be no studio. There's no more tent. So that it's just special format. So the guys wanted to do something different. Amazon still wanted to have them around. So this was a way for them to basically make more money.
It was obvious the fans were tired of the tent. But they barely even did the tent in the 3rd season.
I haven't watched any of the 3rd season yet. So
the only thing they did at the tent was Conversation Street, but there was no celebrity showing up doing anything.
Well, that was getting boring, and
exactly.
and the track really didn't add anything to the show, in my opinion, during the 2nd season even. So
yeah, although the driver they had actually even showed up in a couple of the episodes in regular stuff. So just real quick, I have the full list of all the shows.
Oh, great.
New shows that are going to be on Disney Plus. The Mandalorian, which will be the first live-action Star Wars TV series. Let's see, an untitled Cassian Andor series. So that's the spy from Rogue One. So this will be a pre Rogue One series, and Alan Tudyk will be reprising his role as the voice of the droid. So hey, the best part of that.
They basically said they're going to scrap all the ideas for the Star Wars movies at this point, and they're going to concentrate on television. So the only thing you're going to get Star Wars, if you're a Star Wars guy, is TV.
And the finale of Star Wars, The Clone Wars, one more season of that will be there. For Marvel, we'll have The Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Scarlet Witch, and Vision, Loki, and Marvel's What If, which is... that's a comic series where weird things are like, what if Peggy Carter got the super serum, not Steve Rogers? And then there's some Monsters at Work, which is a Monsters Incorporated TV series. Lamp Life, which is an animated film about what Lil Bo Peep was between Toy Story 2 and upcoming Toy Story 4. Forky Asks a Question, another Toy Story 4 thing. A collection of new Pixar shorts called Spark Shorts. This one I will not watch. Lady and the Tramp, a live-action remake of the classic dog romance.
That's a movie, not a series.
Yeah.
There's quite a few things that I've heard so far that I have no interest in seeing.
Yeah. Really, the Marvel series are the only things that sound interesting, and mostly that's because Netflix is killing off the DC series.
And then a bunch of other movies. They're going to do High School Musical, the series.
High School Musical, the series.
Yes.
Oh, and then we're going to have a movie of that, so it'll be High School Musical, the series, the movie.
And then there's a bunch of movies here that we may have to have.
Yes.
So here's a Christmas movie we can do. It's called Noel, with Bill Hader playing Nick Kringle, the next person in line to become Santa Claus, with his younger sister Noelle, played by Anna Kendrick.
Well, maybe.
There's a Phineas and Ferb movie.
Okay, I kind of like Phineas and Ferb, but, in short doses.
Let's see.
There's supposed to be like a live-action Kim Possible that they're coming out with that I thought was for Disney+. Which is funny because they already had a live-action Kim Possible movie.
Yep. The World According to Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum will reveal the hidden stories behind common, well-beloved things like ice cream and sneakers.
Are they turning his hotel travel website commercial into a series? Is that what they're doing?
That's my guess.
Or Apartment Finder or whatever that is?
No, honestly, it sounds to me like he's muscling in on Carlton's gig on How It's Made, or...
Oh, is Carlton the new host of How It's Made?
Yeah.
What's the candy one?
No, the Unwrapped.
Oh, yeah, Unwrapped.
Unwrapped.
What?
That's it.
What? They got rid of Mark Summers?
Oh, he produces it. He hasn't been in it for years.
Oh.
But here's the thing. When it comes to Disney Plus...
Yeah.
Disney Plus will be a success, even if they didn't have Star Wars and all their animated show, all the Disney movies and Marvel shows and Star Wars. People will pay for Disney Plus for one very important reason.
Why?
Because they'll have all the Simpsons. And if there's one thing that's been learned over the last couple of years, people still...
But will they have Friends? Because that's all that matters, as Netflix has shown us.
Exactly. Disney Plus is the Simpsons network. Netflix is the Friends network. There you go. That's all you need.
Actually, Netflix or Friends is actually owned by Warner Media.
Yeah.
So Netflix only temporarily has it.
Yeah, they keep paying for it. That's a storyline every year. How much money is Warner Media going to make them pay?
Actually, yeah, Simpsons is Disney because that's Fox ABC. So, yeah.
Now, the interesting thing is it actually became more likely that Netflix keeps Friends because I guess there's a I don't know the connections. AT&T and Warner Media have some connection. I haven't kept track.
AT&T owns Warner Media.
Okay. Today, AT&T sold their stake of Hulu back to Hulu, which basically means to Disney. So Hulu is now almost exclusively Disney and Comcast. Mostly Disney. So
yeah, so I don't know. I don't know how that plays into anybody's hand here, but
No.
I think what's going to be is that ABC, as a Disney property, shows will basically be on Hulu, as separated from Disney Plus, where everything else will be.
Yeah. So if you want Family Matters, you still need Hulu.
Yeah.
All right.
Hulu.
So back to my question. All right. Do we want?
And by the way, I'm not sharing this because it was a typo, but Gilbert hears the dogs and is saying hi.
Okay.
There was a typo that could have gotten the Humane Society involved, so we'll go view it later.
Right.
I think we need to talk. We need to talk about the middle school teacher.
Okay. So the selfie teacher, because I think there are some interesting points. There are some interesting points in this story that I think do require a little bit of discussion. So this is a story from a couple weeks ago. Middle school teacher says she was fired over topless selfie sent to boyfriend. Now, the way that this comes down is that a topless selfie of her that she had sent to a boyfriend who happens to also be a teacher in the same school district somehow got disseminated to a few of the children in the school. And so the school put her on temporary leave, and now they have terminated her because she can no longer effectively be a role model for the children. So her position on this, she is suing the school for $3 million through her attorney, John Ray, because she's saying this was an improper termination because she has evaluations from 2017 saying that she was an outstanding, highly effective teacher who was genuinely dedicated to her students and that she did nothing wrong. And so the one thing that's disgusting in this story, all right, is that every instance of the story I have read, they have reposted the picture. Granted, it has been pixelized, but why is that needed? We don't need to see the picture. We can take her account and the school board's account for it. We don't need you to further degrade this woman by proliferating this picture out there. All right? That doesn't need to be done. All right? So that's point number one that I have wrong with the coverage of this story. All right? That's like, plastering the face of a rape victim on a story about him. All right? That's just wrong. All right. Two, so in the state that she lives in, it is not illegal to be topless as a woman. Okay? It's not against the law. And that was what this photo was. She was topless. She wasn't bottomless. She was topless. Point number two is she didn't send this picture to a student. It was gotten through somewhere else. We don't have and she's not outing the ex-boyfriend to the media, so we don't know the name.
And it was not posted to, say, Facebook.
Right.
Which you could say is a controlled public set. This was the equivalent of having a Polaroid and giving it to someone. Okay? This was the digital equivalent of that.
Yeah. So
that it was intended for one person who she was in a consensual relationship with.
Yeah. Now, according to what we know, there's nothing happening to the person who received this picture in the first place, who somehow lost control of it. Yeah. All right? Because it's highly unlikely that she let it out herself. I mean, there were only two people involved in this transaction, her and him, and I doubt that she let it out. Or if she did, this lawsuit goes nowhere fast. But, so I mean, but the point is, she does have a claim to a degree because it's not illegal in the state that they live for a woman to be topless in public. So why would it be illegal for a topless photo to be passed around? She's not breaking any laws. There is no obscenity charge being lodged against her. There's no, corruption of a minor charge. There's no charges being levied against her. Period. It would be different if there was actual police charges being prosecuted here, but there's not. The school board is merely saying, because a picture of you that somehow got out is circulating, you're at fault. And what is discouraging to me are the comments on the story. Okay? Because the comments show zero compassion. All right? Now, in this day and age, it is not unheard of to sext the person you are in a relationship with. Okay? That is, whether you are boyfriend, girlfriend, or married, it's not an uncommon practice. All right? And we understand, I would say most people, there is a consensus between the two parties, an understanding that that is a private exchange. All right? Now, Mike, let me ask you a question. Have you ever sexted your wife? Not necessarily a photo, but have you ever had naughty talk over text?
Not with my wife, no.
But have you had it with any previous?
Yes.
Okay. Because I have. 100% I have. And, Colin, have you ever had naughty chat with
no.
a woman? No? Okay. I kind of knew the answer to that, but I was just hoping that maybe you were going to surprise me and going, yeah, my wiener's on a website somewhere. And, Mike and I, for some reason, we're going to start, we were going to be investigators in 2 seconds.
Don't bring me into this. I'm not investigating nothing. If it's out there, that's all I need to know. So I'll take your damn word for it. Thank you.
Yeah, you go out investigating by, going out and playing golf with, I guess he's still in prison, but.
So,
you'll figure out who killed Nicole and, find my picture.
It's just, it's wrong that it got out. But it is not this woman's fault, and I don't think she should pay for something that, I'm sure it's traumatizing to her. I can't imagine that it wouldn't be. But it's not like, this is different than the teachers who used to be porn actresses or do nude photo shoots. Are you guys in agreement with me on that? That this is a different scenario entirely?
I was looking for a chart of how strong teachers' unions are by state. And New York teachers' unions are supposed to be tier 1, the absolute strongest unions for teachers. So I'm just wondering, how the heck did the union let this teacher get fired?
And that is exactly where I was going to try and find out. I didn't think to look up how strong unions are. I was looking up if there was a teachers union. And I'm kind of in agreement. Like, I have not seen any statement from the teachers union on this one way or another. The only thing I can think of is if the contract had some kind of morality clause.
Well, and I can understand that.
Even then, I'm kind of with you that this was not. It's not like she was posting these pictures out there for the whole world to see. I mean, we've seen teachers get fired for posting bikini pics on their Facebook page.
Right.
From when they were on vacation. Or posting pics of them out drinking on their Facebook page. So there could be some kind of morality type clause.
Well, yeah, but to some degree, I understand the posting of bikini pics or posting of drinking pics or whatever, because you're doing that. You're in control of that transaction. This is somebody broke into your house and stole a photo album and is posting it up. There's a difference.
Here's the thing, though. I didn't find anything up front of the union making a statement either way on this.
There was one statement. One of the stories said the representative of the teachers union said it was unclear if the picture was actually of her, which is a completely useless thing.
All right, let me just tell you the pictures of her. I can tell you the pictures of her.
Yeah, that's a useless comment. Thank you, teachers union.
Yeah,
but there is a point made in the article, right, wrong, or indifferent, that how can she now stand in front of a classroom and effectively teach these boys who can just pull out their phone and look at this picture?
Okay, but there are now laws on the books about revenge porn. Okay?
Well, yes, that's the other question. Why is she not outing this teacher?
Well, I was going down this train of thought. There are now laws on the books about revenge porn, where we prosecute the person that posted the revenge porn. Okay? So are we now saying with this type of a ruling that it's not just the person that did the offense, but it's the victim that should be blamed too? Because that's what this is saying by saying she has zero respect and she cannot command any respect. That's what they're saying by saying that statement. That she can't sit in front of these people and have any sense of order or discipline with this out there. You're saying, okay, if this happens to another girl down the line, they're branded with the same scarlet letter that she is, when it wasn't their fault. And you can say, well, it's their fault because they sent the picture, but who of us has never screwed up or done something that was young and juvenile? I mean, come on. Yep. We just happen to have done it before the age of cell phones. But I guarantee half the people commenting in this thread, if cell phones and the internet had been around, their butt from mooning people would have been on the internet in a second. You know? So that's the problem for me.
Yeah, I would say my guess is the other teacher probably still had the picture on his phone. He probably left his phone unlocked as some students were looking through the phone, found the picture, they sent it to themselves.
I'm sure that's probably what happened. And so it's really no fault of hers,
right?
No fault of his, to a lesser degree, though, because really that is a boneheaded move.
To keep the picture at all.
To keep the picture at all once the relationship is done, and to leave your phone unlocked without securing it. I mean, come on, we go through a state, mandated security practices site, test every year, and that's one of the things on there.
He probably unlocked the phone because some kid wanted to do something on it.
But
but it would be the fault of that kid, and they probably know exactly who it is because if they look on the sent information on the phone, it's probably I went to gym.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think firing this woman is the right answer. I don't know that paying her $3 million is the right answer either. But I know that the precedent they're setting is wrong.
Yeah, and she is right. It is sexual discrimination, and she might be able either give her a jog back or give her the $3 million, one way or the other. Because,
like I said, it looks on the surface as a lay person like she has plenty of legal ground to stand on.
I agree with this, and I'm. It's very disappointing, like you said. It's a very slippery slope. The problem here is I feel like she's being made an example of.
Oh yeah.
Because like you said, no other names are being brought up here, and that's the part that's very disturbing here.
Why did it have to happen in the first place? Their excuse was, well, what happens if you have a room full of boys and they're all laughing, looking at a picture of you on their phone? And the answer is, you give them all detention and make them delete the picture.
Well, let's put it this way. Our first lady was a lingerie model. Okay? That's where our country is at right now. So are you telling me that this woman having a topless photo out there somewhere is going to restrict how high up she can go? I don't think so. We have an orange potato as a president. Who we know had fun times and paid off the women. So, you know.
Slippery slope. Slippery slope. Move on.
That's right. Slippery with gravy. So
the next thing we'll be talking about is airplanes dropping water on a burning cathedral.
Oh God! So let's
let's just move.
Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about this subject of the slippery slope and the bad conversations.
Yes.
Okay, I have two examples of conversations you shouldn't have. All right, one of them goes back to an article which is actually on our website ptrradio.com, which you should look at. Which is it toilet time or toilet etiquette or something like that. But anyway, it's the rules for bathroom. Okay. So we have certain rules that you should abide by when you're in the toilet. Okay. That they're pretty simple. I mean, it doesn't take much. It's toilet talk is a segment. So potty policies, no talking on a cell phone, no talking between stalls, eyes front, no peeking. You know, allow one urinal separation, et cetera, et cetera. So we have 10 different rules for potty policies. At work last week, all right, I went in to use the urinal, as sometimes you do. Two men happened to be occupying the sit-down stalls in the bathroom. Now, at first, I thought that they were talking to each other because I heard one guy say, yeah, that's the problem with building smart cars. Now, I didn't hear anything coming from the other side. Turns out the guy was on his phone. And he was talking about how we shouldn't be making robots so intelligent because they could take over. He was going like full Matrix conspiracy theory while on the crapper.
Wow.
Okay. And not only that, but he was using the handicap stall. Now, forget the fact that he actually had a wheelchair, but that's my stall. All right. You hobble into the regular one. Us fat people, we need the handicap stall. All right. So I quickly finished up, washed up, had no concern about blow drying my hands. Making noise there, because I figured whoever he was talking to deserved to know that he was in the bathroom talking on the phone about the robots taking over the world. I actually thought he was on the phone with a radio show. And I'm glad it wasn't PTR Radio, because we have better listeners than that. They don't call when they're in the bathroom. Most of the time, they just don't call. Which is fine, because I don't think I have the phones up today. So that was one example of poor conversations. The other example is I went down to Missouri to visit relatives again today, or on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's about a 6-hour round trip. So we spend about 3 or 4 hours there because it's such a long drive. Well, the last 2 times, my lovely wife has decided to go with my aunt to a meat store, which is an hour away. So her and my aunt and my cousin leave to go to the meat store that's at least a 3-hour trip out of a 4-hour visit. And I'm left there talking to my grandpa and his new wife, struggling for a conversation. And
Lord.
When we left, which was about 20 minutes after they got back, I said, thank the Lord you came back, because I had run out my very limited knowledge on firearms had been completely used up. And we had already had a discussion about politics and religion, to which don't necessarily see eye to eye on. But I kind of bluffed my way through.
I was going to say, you not seeing eye to eye when it comes to politics and religion, I'm not going to believe that 1 second.
So, You know, for the most part, I am down the middle. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I may lean a little bit towards the liberal side, but I like to think I'm fairly down the middle. As we've discussed before, I'm more about personal responsibility than anything else.
And logic.
And
Logic's important.
The party of common sense that we always want.
Yeah.
Right? Well, one of their friends came and visited, and he's who really wanted to talk politics. He has homemade Trump bumper stickers.
Homemade Trump
bumper stickers.
Wow.
Yeah. All over the back of his car. I mean, like plastered. Like you can barely see the turn signals. So you can imagine how stimulating the conversation was. When we started talking about welfare benefits and illegal immigration.
Oh, boy.
And sanctuary cities.
Two things I do not want to discuss with people that I barely know. How great Trump is and how terrible Trump is.
Yeah, I don't
Those
want
are the two classes of conversation that I do not want to have with random people.
You want to know what my standard response was on just about every topic he brought up? Well, I see where both sides really have their points, and if we could just go down the middle, I think everybody would be a lot happier.
I don't remember what this was an actual response to, but it feels relevant. I'm just gonna have a button to share this. Keep sharing this, because
seems a little dangerous for many reasons. Was the text?
Listen, so was there alcohol there?
No. No.
Oh God! So this was like a triple threat, because usually at that point, I'll just be sitting there, and if I want to get out of conversation, I'll be like, "This is some damn good beer," you know.
And what sucked was
they really know how to make their beer satisfactory, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
anything.
The TV wasn't on. Nothing. It was just dead silence and conversation.
Did you know that the human head weighs 8 pounds?
I'm going to bring flashcards next time with me. Just random facts.
So
you know, I have a handful of lines that I will throw out there just to purposely make conversation uncomfortable when I don't want to discuss things with people, or I don't want to talk to people. You know, the people... I'll just turn to them out of nowhere. My power is beyond your understanding.
So there's a related. I wanted a little bit of stuff today stories. It kind of goes along the same things. So today in France, Notre Dame burned.
Which I made the joke, and I guess it wasn't a good one. I said, "Oh, the cathedral, Notre Dame Cathedral, has smoke coming out of it. They must be electing a new pope."
That's better.
I thought it was funny.
There were a bunch. See, the problem is there was a bunch of Twitter jokes that were just terrible. When that thing's burning and people might be dying, and your joke's okay.
Yeah.
Some of the jokes, but my favorite one though is the kind where someone goes up and goes, "They don't have a sprinkler system. They must be spending too much money on those sexual abuse cases to pay for the sprinkler system." Which other people have to kind of kill the joke and go, "Yeah, that's actually owned by the French government, not the Catholic Church, so no." But here's I'm just posted something up on.
Oh yeah, it showed up right below Mike's article of everything you need to know about dolphin clitorises.
Yeah, so I'm seeing all this.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from, by the way.
I don't know, but shouldn't it be
that?
Shouldn't it be clitori?
Every media outlet I could. It popped up in my Twitter feed as an actual article from. Why I even follow Boing Boing anymore, I don't know, but that popped up, and I said, I'll be damned if I'm not going to use this somehow. I threw it on my Facebook page.
You know what?
Only my friends to see, and I said, because I know you all had questions, I'm just going to leave this here.
You know what's funny?
And that's all I said about it.
It was in the currently trending on Yahoo on that day. It made their news rotator. And all I had to think of is, shouldn't it be clitori instead of clitorises? I just want to know the proper plural, you know. But all right, so
Notre Dame's burned down. I see these random things on Twitter where some people are saying stupid things, some people are saying jokes, some people are talking about did Muslims.
Oh, it's too loud.
The Muslims burn it down, all this stuff. And then this pops up from the Washington Examiner, which I don't know much about, but I'm assuming it has pictures of Karl Rove at the top of it, if it's bars.
Shut up, stupid.
Okay,
So,
that's
tab.
You. Okay.
Yeah, it's Shaggy. So I'm assuming that this is not a left-leaning paper, but they in the middle of the thing burning down, they put up an editorial opinion that the U.S. should pay 17.83% of the reconstruction costs of Notre Dame. And I'm looking at this going, what? You have an entire written thing here talking about what France has done for us in the past, saying we should pay 17.83. What? Are you referring to a year? Is it supposed to be like in 1783 France helped us of something? I don't. There's just the amount of random crap that
I was going to say the
out
1783. Have you not? I guess you didn't read the article because maybe they added it after. But 1783 was the year the Treaty of Paris was signed and Great Britain
I see it there, yeah.
the independence of the United States. Right. So either way, did anybody forget how there was a huge movement in the United States to no longer refer to it as French toast and French bread and French fries?
That's why we got freedom fries.
Freedom fries, freedom toast.
Yep.
Freedom bread. Well, maybe not.
No, it's never been freedom
but
bread.
why not like 18.75%? Because that was the year that the Statue of Liberty was built. And that was given to us by France.
I'll tell you what. I would tell you what, France. You may take the Statue of Liberty back as a present. You may go ahead and pawn it or sell it as raw material, scrap it to pay for Notre Dame.
Well, we needed to put its hand up like this anyway. You know, it shouldn't be welcoming people. We're building that wall. We need like a crossing guard at a school, you know, with a little stop sign.
If they took the Statue of Liberty and melted it down, they could build the wall with all of that steel.
No, we don't. We're not going to do that. We're gonna do catapults of melted copper.
How has AOC not thought of that one yet?
Oh, what if we just recycled it? What are they paying for copper nowadays?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Dude, people go into abandoned houses and strip all the pipes and wiring out to sell
a great thing the other day. AT&T was running fiber in a neighborhood, and so they had this whole big reel of fiber on the ground, and they had taken a spray paint can and wrote "not copper" on the side so that it didn't get stolen.
This is made of glass. It ain't worth anything except to us because we paid a lot for it.
All right, speaking about fun captions or bad captions, we need to talk about the Mason County Sheriff's Department because this was hilarious. All right, so they had an escaped parolee, Christopher Taylor, who was wanted for cutting off his home confinement ankle bracelet. Now, the good news is he's been caught. All right. The bad news for him is that all the comments are still here from when they were looking for him. And because the county sheriff's department posted a picture of what this little guy looked like. And here he is. Okay. So they've got. Yeah, what?
Am I seriously the only person that doesn't really get why this took off as such a viral thing?
Well, it's because he looks so small. I mean, he looks like an Oompa Loompa.
He looks like an Oompa Loompa because he's wearing his pants around his knees.
Well, that, and he's only 2 feet taller than the newel post.
You're
If
18
that.
years old, you don't know shit about shit. Pull up your pants.
Yeah. So, but what was great was some of the comments. Oompa loompa doopity doo. I slipped my ankle bracelet. What you gonna do? I bet all these jokes would go right over his head. Thank you, commenters. I quit smoking cigarettes 9 days ago, and today I hate everything except this thread. He might be trying to turn himself in. They should walk around to the front of the desk and check there. Just shake a bottle of Gerber Puffs. He'll come back. That's why you don't take the baby gate off the porch. That's a good one.
No, it seemed fitting because, he's little.
You'll never catch him. He's the gingerbread man. That was a good one. He's been on the run for a week and hasn't made it off the deck yet.
Where is this guy? Where is this again? Okay. So this guy kind of reminds me of like the modern day Icy Hot Stuntazz. All right. They were like one of the original viral memes that.
I'm looking at. Okay. So you're talking about. Oh, come on. I just want the stupid picture. You dumb browser. So, you're talking about those guys.
Yes. But, like, I love the,
So, yeah, he does look like he's like an excommunicated member. He's Donnie. He's like, the Donnie Wahlberg of that group.
Yeah, these guys. See now this image here, because we used to make fun of these guys all the time because they got a little bit too crazy with their sparkle embellishment in Photoshop to make their gold chains look that much, and all of their fake stuff look that much more pimpin'.
Oh yeah.
I just like I don't know. I was more. The comments were hysterical. I gotta say that part.
Man, y'all leave Cotton Hill alone. He ain't got no shins. He lost his shins in the war after he killed 50 men. How about a little respect? But Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs.
I was gonna say, this guy looks like he may be like Wee Man from Jackass, grown up a little bit.
What gang he in? 7 Dwarfs. Check the He-Man Woman Haters Clubhouse. Just wait until he eats a mushroom, then he'll be full size and make y'all pay for poking fun at him. He's known to have a short temper. He never ran, homie hiding in the garden, standing still with the other gnomes. He attempted to strike the arresting officer in the face, but connected just above the waist. Always good ones. So, I just love when I love when the police ones go viral. Those are my favorites. Because yeah. Okay, so let's cover one more before we get to our movie reviews. We've got 2 movies that Mike was super excited about for this week. Let's see here, Mike.
I was too excited, I will admit.
Yeah, I think you were. Now, do you want to talk about your slavery reparations, or do you want to talk about your dolphin clitorises? Those are the 2. It's funny enough. Those are the 2 segments that you posted for this week. You get to pick. No, you only pick between those 2. Pick between those 2. You got to tell us an encyclopedic knowledge.
I truly don't think I can talk for 5 minutes about dolphins. So let's talk about Spartacus Booker here. Oh my God. I don't understand. All right, first of all, the Democratic Party seems to have put forth, or some members of the Democratic Party seem to have put forth
100 candidates.
Well, yeah, let's not even go there about how many damn candidates they got running for president. I mean, I actually posted this up into the list for the white sheet, asking the question if the Democrats are really actually trying to lose this upcoming election. Because I have not heard a single one of the candidates that seems to make any kind of sense.
Yeah,
we got one guy who's talking about giving every American $1,000 a month stipend to help stimulate the economy. Basically, everybody gets an allowance on top of whatever they earn. That's Andy Yang.
Don't know where we're going to get that money from. Are we charging admission at the wall?
Well, AOC and her band of happy idiots that are going to try and push Bernie Sanders into office again. But then you got these ones that are pushing this reparations bill.
Oh, hold on. You forgot about Bento, who couldn't even get into Congress. So, but yes, we have reparations, which now has become a big campaign thing.
Now, but here's the thing. The bill is not actually providing reparations. And a lot of, thank God. It's studying the possibility of reparations for descendants of slave. And then Elizabeth Running Wolf Warren comes in and says that we should think about including Native Americans, my Native American people in this as well. Look, to even propose this, look, I will say it. This is a black man talking about trying to introduce a bill to provide reparations for the black community.
Yes.
If that is not the racist wedge that everybody seems to think is fueled by Trump, this is beyond anything that Donald Trump may or may not have done. This is racism at its core. But nobody's calling him out on it. I'm calling him out.
Well,
right? And I can because you know what? You're from Jersey, and you're.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm hoping he actually gets elected or gets the nomination is because then I believe he has to forfeit his senator's seat.
Yeah. Well, the last thing I heard was Bernie also hopped on the train for also co-sponsoring this bill to study. So I'm kind of hoping.
Where's Ross Perot when we need him? God damn it!
Where's the rent is too damn high guy? That's what we need. All right, but really, I mean, I don't know. Come on, Uncle Joe. Come on, stop being huggy feely. We need you. All right, that's what we need.
He can't be running for president. He's too busy singing lounge acts here in Jersey and showing complete and total disrespect to the guy that's donating his sound system to the event for the Kiwanis. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's just somebody who looked a lot like Joe Biden.
Like Joe Biden. But, I mean, it was... Oh, man. I don't know. I had hoped we'd be further along by now. But for those of you that said earlier in the program we were anti-Trump, look at it right now. We're anti-Dem. So, hey, fair and balanced. That's us. Mama Blair has the line for the night, and I think I'm going to change the title of the show. Seems a little dangerous for many reasons. That's going to be one of our new taglines.
Yeah, that's a good. That's
All right. Well, let's get out of this quagmire and move along
Into a much deeper quagmire.
To what we do best, which is the double feature movie review. Every show.
It's got to be worse. I want to know.
Huh?
Sounds like into an even deeper quagmire. No.
So.
The deeper quagmire of bad movies. That is what the last quarter of our show is.
So, we take two movies from popular streaming services, in this case Amazon Prime and Netflix. We also open it up to a little bit of YouTube and some other things, Crackle, whatever. Stuff that you could easily get, or we assume that you already have. We already discussed. Maybe someday we'll include Disney Plus. Who knows? But, we take a look at the hidden gems. The whole idea was this concept came from you watch this, you might also like this, that Netflix seems to push down your throat. One of the days, many, many years ago, I clicked on one called Cowboys versus Dinosaurs. After I watched the movies Cowboys versus Aliens. That's how this whole segment got started. So here we are, several years later, as it turns out, and we're still doing it. We decided let's turn it into a bit. Let's rate them 2 at a time, all the way from Puke to Schneike, Schneike's being the best, and we will give them critical reviews as if Siskel and Ebert were doing it themselves. So the two movies that we have tonight are, Mike, you go ahead and give them.
Atlantic Rim Resurrection, sequel to the ever-popular Atlantic Rim, and Space Hunter Adventures in the Forbidden Zone. I'm proposing we start with Atlantic Rim Resurrection.
All right. So I did not, unfortunately, have time to write up my review, so I will kind of be going...
Is it working?
All right, so I will kind of be going off the cuff for this. So we had a rule a while ago about asylum films because Colin had been burned out because we were doubling up on asylum films seemed like every other week. And so when we first got assigned this movie, I thought, this will be a nice break. A asylum film. We haven't had one in a while. I kind of forgot what the taste of one was. And so this could be like, in my mind, I'm like, all right, this is the burger that drips all over the place, isn't good to look at, but when you put it in your mouth, it's a little bit of a weird feeling, but it's good. All right, it's like my Bacon Joes. You'd never put those things together. All right, in a normal recipe, bacon, chili sauce, pickle relish, and put them on buns and heat them up. You'd never think to do that. All right, but you do that, you put them together, and you taste it, and you're like, oh, this is good garbage. All right, I want to keep cramming this into my mouth because this sucks so good. All right, that's what asylum films should be, a la Sharknado. The first Sharknado, right? That's what we want. And the Lavalantula series, that's what we want. We want good asylum films. So I was looking forward to Atlantic Rim Resurrection thinking, all right, how can they screw this up? This could only be good. It's a sequel. Sequels are always better. At least for asylum, usually they do better. All right? Here's a problem, folks. It's not better. If worse was a number, it'd be 42,817. All right? That's what this number would be. Because this movie sucks so bad. All right? I don't think puke goes low enough. All right? This movie may be a sequel, but it's like they took the lines that the writers said this is too dumb to use in the first script, and they just put them together in a no nonsense order, and said, "Hey, here's a sequel." Okay, there was only one good plot device in the whole movie. And that is, when you kill an alien, little spider babies come out of it. All right? Now, that was a good addition that we never saw in the Pacific Rim type, spin-off type genre thing. I like that addition because suddenly it looked like Lavalantula. That was cool. But overacting at this level hasn't been done since Benny Hill. All right. This movie is horrendous. All right. These people should just be shot in the street for making this and making me sit through it. All right. This is a bad movie made by bad people, starring bad people, written by worse people. All right. That's what this movie is. So in my mind, it's chunky puke. All right. That's what this is.
So,
all right. Now, Colin.
Not quite burn it with fire, but
I don't usually do burn it with fire.
Yeah.
I do chunky puke because chunky puke is usually always followed up with dry heaves, which is the worst.
So the question is, do you find it equivalent to kill it with fire?
Maybe. Yeah, I think in my book, it's probably, yeah.
Okay.
It's right there. Colin, you're up.
Okay, so I will say I found this one actually slightly better than the first one. It has all the hallmarks of why asylum films are terrible. So it starts with 3 people in a bar, okay? And it spends forever on these characters talking about stuff that does not matter. And it's one shots. It's like Shaggy was sitting there pushing the button for Mike's face and then Shaggy's face and then my face. So every time we talk, it just keeps going to our faces and never goes to setting the scene again. Just basically, it's terrible editing. Every time we do these asylum films, that's what I get them on mostly is they cannot edit themselves at all. You could cut half that scene and you might have a good scene. Well, not a good scene. You have a scene, at least. But the worst part is that almost all 3 of those characters are either killed off or locked out or just disappear and are useless. So you have this humongous scene getting into the inner thinking of these characters, and then they are mostly disposable. As far as I can tell, I don't think anybody from the first movie is in this movie. It's set up to make you think, because there's enough times gone by, you might think that like the lead character was supposed to be a carryover, but as far as I can tell, he wasn't in the first one. Other things you might see, for those who've never seen an asylum film, here's how an asylum film does costuming for a military army general. Okay, they put a black jacket on him. And then they get 3 or 4 ribbon-looking things, and they stick it on his chest, and he's a general. What? There's no general. I mean, there's no stars. No, it's 3 good conduct medal ribbons. And then later, when they're outside, they put 2 more ribbons underneath it, but just for the scenes when he's outside. As soon as he's back inside again, they're gone again. It's like someone thought, oh, he doesn't look general enough. Here's a temporary tattoo I just found. Let's just stick it on there like it's another medal. So as Shaggy said, so they find that the monster character, the monster gets killed. Little ones come out. Okay. So the little ones are running around, and more monsters come out. They try to kill them with a flamethrower filled with pathogens that they waved a wand over one of the little things to figure out how to kill them. And then for no apparent reason, the system they tried to use on the robot to spray this stuff doesn't work. Which then goes to a scene of one guy waving a gun at them with the giant robot to give the other guy time to figure out why the flamethrower that's supposed to spray the stuff doesn't work. Now, from a shooting perspective, this means one guy just kind of does this for a while, while the other guy looks really constipated and just sits there going, "Oh, I'm trying to figure out why this doesn't work." Oh! And he was just going, "What is he doing?" He's supposed to be. He is in a cockpit that looks like it's big enough for a Star Destroyer, and he's sitting there in this little seat at the front of it. Sometimes they come in from the back, but mostly when other characters are coming to them, they just come through the front. Like the best way for everybody else to come into this giant robot is just to crawl through a window instead of the giant elevator system, I guess it's in the back. I don't, anyway. So finally, the first guy goes, the second guy says, oh, so his constipation finally comes to him. He says, I know what I'll do. I will ram my arm into the alien, and then the acid inside of the alien will open up the canister and kill it. And the first guy goes, great, but before you do that, let me ram myself into the monster and blow myself up for no reason whatsoever. I mean, a character literally kills himself and this giant billion-dollar robot for nothing. Because the monster is still there. It didn't hurt the monster. The other guy shoves his arm in, and the monster dies. Yay. And then they... Oh, I forgot. Just like every other Asylum film, there's a couple characters just running around on the ground during the movie, running away from the monsters for no good reason. And then they like lock themselves in an apartment. And then they're like fine for like half an hour of movie time. And then a couple of characters decide to take the time to go get them, and then they vanish, and magically they were dropped off somewhere safe. Okay. But anyway, so that same vehicle is now driving to save the second guy, whose giant billion-dollar robot has fallen down. And in the shots, they're going past all of the little aliens who are still there. And that's the end of the movie. And I'm thinking, what about the other giant monsters that are still in the water that are coming? They've destroyed all three of the robots, and apparently all the little aliens are still running around. The movie's not done, guys. What are you gonna do about them? And then like I said, there was less running around in abandoned sheds pretending that they were military bases. There was less people who could actually do something to help other people, but random military people locked themselves into sheds for no apparent reason. So that's the reason why I said it was slightly better. And you could think, well, I gave the first one a puke. Could I give this one something better? And the answer is no, because of the biggest sin this movie has.
Mm-hmm.
These little aliens are running around, looking somewhat similar to the animation that they used for Lavalantulas. Yet there is no cameo from Steve Guttenberg. If there was a Lavalantula cameo in there somewhere, I would give this a better rating. But without that, it's puke.
All right, Mike, after that 20-minute review, what do you got left in the tank?
Putting up my shirt this evening. And a little intellectual humor. All right. 15 minutes into this movie, and I had nothing to comment about. You know, and for those who, if this is the first time you're ever listening to one of these double feature movie reviews, you will know that I'm the nitpicker. I find flaws and I pick out specific details that I think are problems with that you might see, or I am getting too old man get off my lawn when it comes to these movies, and I see. But the doc who's getting the new bots together, 15 minutes in, she's standing there talking into what appears to be a USB drive on the end of a telephone cord. Okay, now I have a problem. This is the first thing that I have a problem with. They can't even afford like an actual communicator looking thing. The Viper alarm system, I didn't think any of those were actually still on the road, but I'd recognize that sound of that siren anywhere. That's how you knew you had a good alarm, because you had the 6-tone Viper siren. Movie was going typical Asylum style. Then it flipped over to Lost in Space, meaning the movie remake, not the Netflix series, with all of the little creatures coming out, and I'm just like, whoa. What the? Wasn't expecting that. Really wasn't. Now the General. with his dollar store clearance rack speech, trying to figure out if he's trying to rip off Bill Pullman from Independence Day, or is he trying to be Stacker Pentecost with we'll cancel the apocalypse. Either way, there's no emotion in this speech. I don't know exactly what they were trying to accomplish with him. But then that little boat, Crystal Slipper or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
That guy was running full throttle trying to get away from these creatures for a long time. I want to know what kind of boat that is, because that's the boat I want in the event of a zombie apocalypse, because it could get from here to Hawaii on a tank of gas. Look, was this one better than the first? Yes. Barely. And by barely, I mean the width of a human hair better. Why? Because this movie did the one thing that the first one could not do. Show these pilots getting in and out of the damn robots. Recall, in the first one, we never saw them go in, we never saw them go out. That's the only thing. I mean, the bar was not high for this one to be better. But that was the only thing that made this better. And it's not enough to warrant giving it a higher rating. So I had to go back and check the records. The first one I actually gave a puke +3, which translated to the current revision of the puke to Schneike scale makes that a gag. So this is getting a gag. Do not, I repeat, do not pay to watch this movie. Do not buy this movie. Do not watch this movie if you were looking for any kind of cinematic value whatsoever. Do not watch this movie unless you love all things Asylum and you are masochistic, or sadomasochistic, or just hate yourself and have daddy issues that you need to see every single thing the Asylum has ever put out. Or the only other reason to watch this movie is if suddenly there are no other movies in the world to watch anywhere.
I don't even think being high would help this movie.
No, I have two more things I need to add. One is there's the doctor character who keeps programming the robots, and there's one scene where you can see the model number on the front of the keyboard. So I looked it up. She's programming the robots with a 1983 ultrasound machine meant for looking inside the heart.
I kind of noticed. I'm like, that's a weird keyboard. I haven't seen that in a while.
And the other thing is, part of the drama here is that one character has written the software for the robots in Python, but the robots are not based on Python. They're based off of a telescope network based in the UK.
All right. Next up, Space Hunter Adventures in the Forbidden Zone in 3D. The first movie that puts you in outer space.
I believe that was its tagline, was it not?
Yes. All right. Again, I do not have a write-up for this. All right. So, one thing to remember is that this movie came out at about the same time as several other movies. Cherry 2000, Ice Pirates, Krull, Space Raiders, things like that. Good movies. Movies that entertained, had good acting. You could follow the plot. Didn't seem like they were made on a dime budget. All right? Mostly movies that didn't star Peter Strauss, Molly Ringwald, or Ernie Hudson. Because, let's be clear about this, Peter Strauss has been in nothing good. All right? You don't know him for anything really well. He's just really a bit person. I can't see anything of any meaning in his entire IMDb catalog. So don't bother looking him up. It's just a waste. Now, let's go on to the two people that you should know. Molly Ringwald. Let's see the movies that she acts well in. 16 Candles. Teen, drama. The Breakfast Club. Teen drama. Pretty in Pink. Teen drama. You notice a pattern here? Everything that she's known for is not sci-fi. All right? Moving on. Ernie Hudson. Yeah, he's known for Ghostbusters. That's it. All right? You can say, well, he was in The Crow. Well, yeah, he was, but he wasn't. All right? He's not important in The Crow. He was known for Ghostbusters, a comedy. Now, that means this movie blows. Okay, Mike had said when we were setting up this movie, I think we'll all remember this as a movie that we watched when we were kids. I don't, because I had better taste when I was a child. All right, now granted, I ate the pizza crust first when I ate a pizza. I usually pulled the toppings off and ate them second. But even that has better taste than this movie. This movie is horrible. Okay, what kind of a tracker, which is what Molly Ringwald plays, doesn't know the places on the planet that are guaranteed to get you killed? All right, that's a horrible, horrible job of tracking. I would have fired her or killed her first. Okay, this whole thing is reminiscent, really, of Spaceballs. And if Spaceballs got the inspiration from this movie, Mel Brooks is a magician. Okay, because Spaceballs, great comedy, sci-fi. This garbage. But the whole thing is kind of similar. So we get, in this case, 3 girls that were rescued from a crashed airliner, or that need rescuing from a crashed airliner. In this case, on like Mad Max Thunderdome planet, with Michael Ironside of all people playing the dismembered, semi-mechanical overlord of the planet, which I don't know. Edward Scissorhands was a fine thing in the 80s, but I don't think he really needed to be ruler of a planet. This movie, it drags forever. Really is horrible. And like I said, I think they reused some of the stuff from Mad Max Thunderdome. I think I saw those motorcycles before. Definitely the car that Ernie Hudson was driving around was recycled. The best part, the person that I liked the most about this, they killed off in the first 15 minutes. All right, and that was the person that ended up being a robot, which I kind of called that 5 minutes into the movie. I'm like, she's not real, but she is hot. And I'm sure that she's not going to last, because that would just make too much sense, and we'd have an 80s like skin flick instead of a sci-fi film. So, yeah, you lose points for killing, her off, because you should have kept her around. It would have been better. But then we would have had Cherry 2000 almost. So I'm not going to make as long of a speech on this one. This is a horrible movie. Don't do it. If you want to watch a good movie about a space rescue, watch The Adventures of Saber Rain. That's much better than this piece of trash. All right. And we're still hoping for a sequel on that one. So come on, get with it, guys. This one, again, not quite puke with chunks. Just a straight puke. All right. This is like bad Thai food puke. So just straight puke for me. Colin?
Okay. First thing I'm going to... Oh.
Yep.
I'm waiting for you to push the button.
I'm pushing the button.
There we are.
There you are.
There I am. Apparently I'm multiple people now.
Yes.
First, a couple corrections.
Okay.
Ernie Hudson is mostly a TV actor. So he has been in lots of good TV. it's only actually been in just like a couple movies, including this piece of trash. It should be pointed out that this was Molly Ringwald at 15, so this is a year before 16 Candles. So this was like one of the, not the first thing. The first thing she did was Facts of Life, but this is still nearly one of the first things that she did. Poor her. And I've looked at lots of articles just real quick by searching. She's never mentioned this movie. So
you're saying it's her Once Bitten?
Possibly. I think Michael Ironside was actually known for just doing this kind of thing. So, and this was a couple years before Thunderdome. So it is possible that Thunderdome stole some of these vehicles for themselves, but not the other way around. That's the most interesting things I could think of to talk about in this movie. Other than it gave me a little bit of Firefly. I see, basically, I can see where certain parts of this movie have made their way into other things, and that's good for it, I guess. Yay, you gave somebody an idea for a much better thing. The main characters, I actually did not have much of a problem with any of the main characters and some of the set pieces. My biggest problem with this movie is it didn't go anywhere. So the movie is about trying to save 3 women. None of them ever got any characterization whatsoever. So if the 3 people who they're trying to save had died, you would not care because you don't know who they are in the first place. And in the end, the movie saves those people. Yay. And hopefully the guy is going to get his money, but there wasn't much payoff here. You barely understood that the bad guys were bad, because apparently it felt like everybody on this planet was bad, including the main characters. So it was a bunch of bad people chasing other bad people to save 3 completely nameless, characterless, and apparently mindless bimbos. That's a movie. It's an entire movie of watching stuff happen. So I don't hate it as much as Shaggy did. I'm going to give it puke plus 2, whatever that is, Mike. Uh-oh. Shaggy's hit something with his foot again.
No, I didn't hit nothing. I swear to God, I will.
Wait, I'm back.
Oh, okay.
Got muted it when I had to step away to go. Go pee. But you didn't see that.
No.
So I muted it because I had a coughing fit. Yeah, that's it. Muted it to stop from cursing at you guys because pissed in my Cheerios. Look, this movie, not only did it have real stars in Ernie Hudson, a young Molly Ringwald, Michael Ironside, Colin Mockery. Yes, Colin Mockery was in this. This is a big screen debut of Colin Mockery, even though he's uncredited.
Okay.
He was the guard when Molly Ringwald walked in after she was specifically told not to leave the Scrambler. She walked in and she turned around and was talking. Colin Mockery was the guard that grabbed her.
Yeah, you are correct.
So not only did this movie have real stars, real celebrities early in their careers, but you had Ivan Reitman as the executive producer. You have Harold Ramis as the executive director. This is lightning in a bottle here, guys. I mean, I don't understand. The very beginning, the opening scenes, okay, yes, I have an issue. How were these models or whatever the hell they were able to get into the life pod and get into the Uber suit so quickly? after the emergency was declared. It's almost like they were hanging out in the life pod with the suits on, just in case, like they were like hoops on the ferry going to Nantucket in the lifeboat on the ferry because he's that afraid of water. So yeah, the movie has its flaws. I get it. But in the very beginning, they're picking up trash and you hear the dispatcher, you hear Harold Ramis's voice. It's comforting because he's gone. And you remember Egon. For the record, when I saw this movie when it came out, I thought the Scrambler was the coolest vehicle I had ever seen, and I wanted it. And I was so heartbroken when I saw it not too much later on an episode of Knight Rider with a battering ram installed. Yeah, look it up. I was so mad when One of the things I love about watching these old 3D movies, this one, Jaws 3D, is another terrible 3D movie that stands out. You can always tell the scenes when it was painfully obvious that they were trying to utilize the 3D effect. In this one, it's when the guy has the needle and he's pointing it right at the camera. You know darn well that needle was right here in your face during the 3D showing. Just like I had fond memories of the Scrambler when I was a kid, I had nightmares about the Children of the Canyon with their Molotov cocktails. And maybe that's why I'm not sleeping so well, because seeing this brought those nightmares back. It was creepy. One of them even looked like the little person that pumps gas at the gas station around the corner that I normally go to. Now I got to find a new gas station. I can't go there anymore. Shaggy, you mentioned when we pulled this up that Saber Rain was a suggested similar title by Amazon. And the funny part is that Saber Rain was made in 2017. Space Hunter was made in 1983. And despite almost a 35-year gap between the two of them, they do seem somewhat similar. Space Hunter reminds me of a time when movies were all about fun. They were all about what could be, without nitpicking, the way I do everything, of the internet, talking about what's realistic and what's not. Talking about plot holes and what's not. Space Hunter is from a time where men were men. Where TV shows had theme songs written for the show. When James Bond had chest hair. That's right. This movie was from a prime golden era of 3D. Where it didn't cost extra to see 3D in all its glory. You got to keep your 3D glasses and reuse them many times as you wanted. You even got to use them at home. Because the local Channel 11 affiliate, WPIX, they would play 3D movies on Friday nights. See Creature from the Black Lagoon in 3D with the same 3D glasses that you got for Space Hunter. They printed 3D comics with the red and the green, or red and the blue. While this movie wasn't a blockbuster hit, it did make $16.5 million on a $14.4 million budget, which in this day and age was about what Avatar cost, if you adjust for inflation. I'm not giving this a shnikes, only because we didn't get to see 3D boobs. Kidding. I will give this a smile. But I do want to dispute Shaggy's thing about Molly Ringwald. When you're listing out all of the movies that she was in, do we not count The Stand as sci-fi?
Ooh.
I don't think I saw
That's
that
close. One. It's Stephen King, so it's hard to be sci-fi. But it's not really horror either, so... It's not really science fiction, it's fantasy.
It's a super virus that leaked from a lab. It's more of a plague.
You know, you get the devil and stuff. So, like I said, it's not science fiction. But hey, it doesn't matter. It's still a good example.
Yep, you're right.
I think the examples. I think the point stands, Mike.
Okay, thank you.
So one thing I was going to point out is, and this is part of the reason why I found this movie. Okay, this movie was released the 20th of May, 1983.
Mm-hmm.
Why was it released that day?
I don't know.
Because it was a week, or was it a week or 2 weeks before Star Wars?
That Star Wars,
Star Trek?
Return of the Jedi.
Oh, Return.
It was
Return of the
1
Jedi.
week.
Right.
It was 1 week before Return of the Jedi.
So that they made their whole $16 million that week.
Yeah, because then Return of the Jedi took
Pretty
it.
much.
Yeah. By the way, this article that I'm looking at here from Goomba Stomp says Space Hunter Adventures in the Forbidden Zone is a kind of low-rent but quite charming filmmaking that movies like Manborg and Turbo Kid are calling back to with variable success. I would say they succeeded and exceeded, because I liked Turbo Kid and Manborg more than this.
And when were Turbo Kid and Manborg made?
Well, recently. Fairly real. 2014,
Okay.
I think. 27. Yeah.
Okay, so bless you.
Damn. But
They had much better technology and learned from mistakes made since then.
are you going to tell me that they could afford better technology? I mean, you watched Turbo Kid. Funny enough, Michael Ironside was in Turbo Kid. He was the
Yes.
main protagonist in Turbo Kid.
Yeah, that's probably the reason why he was.
So,
Here's the thing. This movie cost $14.4 million to make. Okay? Return of the Jedi cost $32 million to make. 32.5. So, I just look at that and go, if it had been made for $7 million, I would have been much happier with it.
how much did you say? It was $14.2 million?
Yes.
14.4 versus
14.4.
Oops. I guess they don't like commas in their numbers.
You're doing
Okay,
the
I'm doing the adjusted for inflation calculator.
So it's
That
the
would be
equivalent of-
$36.7 million today.
Right, and it's compared to 32.5.
$82.9 million.
Yeah, so that's even we look that's just like I don't know. It could have been better. Right, like I said, there's a lot about this movie that I like. Just the end ruined it for me.
Well, hold on. How much did you say they made, Mike? So it cost 14.4.
They made 16.2.
Okay, so that's what, a $1.8 million gross?
Yeah.
Means they only made $4.5 million when adjusted for inflation. So they only made, I don't know, that just doesn't seem like that much profit on a movie.
Yeah, it wasn't. There was no
Wasn't.
profit on this movie.
Yeah, I know. When we look at movies today, if they don't double,
They have to double to break even because of advertising and everything else. So yeah, this movie lost money on its original release.
yeah. So
Considering, I'm sure it's made money by now.
I conceded that it wasn't
Yeah.
a blockbuster hit.
Yeah.
Okay, I was curious. All right, so
I conceded that.
okay, so it is now time to pick two hopefully good movies from our list of
Not
movies.
happening. Have you seen this list lately? This is...
All right, one maybe decent movie.
I actually,
Out of two?
I will say, I enjoyed these two movies more than I've enjoying some other movies recently. Speaking of movies I've seen recently, Shazam is really good.
See, I heard mixed reviews on Shazam. I heard it was horrible, and then I heard that it was great.
It was great.
I also heard that now we're getting a Black Mirror Adder, whatever.
Black Adam.
Black Adam movie.
Yeah.
The Rock released that on his Instagram account.
Well, I believe he was in the end credits scene.
No.
Yeah. Well, he was a producer on this Shazam
Actually, The Rock was announced as Black Adam
a long time ago. But according to the video that I watched from him, they were going to try and cram both origin stories in one movie, but they decided that that would not work. So they split them apart, and so supposedly this one, the Shazam, did introduce that there would be another one, but he said it's 2 years away.
Another one, but the Black Adam was not in this one at all.
Well, no, he wasn't in this movie.
No, but the two scenes at the end had a different character, like this little worm character called Mr. Mind. And in the end credits, they were just making a joke about Aquaman.
Okay. All right. So what's our max?
30.
30. Oh, we gotta start filling up that spreadsheet again. 14.
Son of a.
What?
How to handle this?
Uh-oh. What? Is this something we've already watched?
It's the McKenna special.
Oh, we just added that last show.
Oh, that make her happy.
All right. So what was the McKenna special?
It's a movie on YouTube.
Oh, boy. Those have always worked out well for us.
Yeah.
I know how much Mike loved FDR American Badass, which is what we got off YouTube.
Yeah, just a second. Go ahead and get the next
All right,
movie,
so next one is 20.
Oh, I don't think we're going to get much better on this one here. Let's see, is it still available? Yes, it is. On Amazon, it's called Outer World.
Oh, Outer World. Okay.
Amazon sci-fi.
Oh, no, not Inner Worlds, Outer Worlds. That's a documentary. Watch Outer World.
Wait a minute. Low-budget gem that used to play on the Sci-Fi Channel. Hold on.
She was genetically engineered by an evil corporation. Is that the one you're watching? You've got 1987.
1987. Pentan, a genetically enhanced female agent, and a rogue starship. Hold on. But okay, it's only.
I don't see this
minutes.
in Prime. I don't see it in Prime though. I don't think it's in Prime anymore.
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay. No, it says the title is currently unavailable unless you got a different link.
I'm sending you a link right now.
All right.
Oh yeah, that's completely different.
That's different than the one that you had?
No, it's completely different than the one you
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's really different. All right. So then, Colin, Quest for the Game Child?
Ashens and the Quest for the Game Child.
All right. So Ashens embarks on a quest to find the legendary and elusive piece of electronic tat known as the Game Child. Is this like a documentary?
Oh, no.
Okay, this just looks like weird.
Has Warwick Davis in it.
Is that the little guy?
Yep.
Okay. And who else does it
How
have?
many times do I have to tell you people that Warwick Davis does not give British stuff a pass in my book, okay?
You said it once, and I've kept you to it ever since.
Is this...
He is not...
Is this a British... Oh, it is a British...
Oh, it's very British.
It's adventure comedy. Stuart Ashen. Wait a second. The actor's name is actually Stuart Ashen, and he made a movie about him?
He's a famous YouTube personality.
Oh, God. Another movie about YouTube people?
Yes.
Did we learn nothing with Electro Woman and Dyna Girl?
Is there a hot tub filled with puke in this?
No.
Then, okay. I will give it a chance.
If a hot tub of puke shows up, then you could definitely run away.
No, this is not. There's no way in hell this is going to.
No, this is probably not going to end well.
The budget was $180,000.
And they're making a sequel funded on Kickstarter.
Oh my lord!
But you know, it's there. It's there. So
it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. So we will have to find it on YouTube, and we'll watch it, and we'll. Oh, there, 130 minutes. I think I found it on Channel Flip. Oh boy, we're gonna love the hairdos. So yeah, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be awesome. So we've got Outer World, and we've got Ashen's and the Quest for the Game Child. After 1.3 million views on Multiverse. Okay, so you know. A comedy adventure film best described as Indiana Jones meets Monty Python and the Holy Grail, with nods to Matrix, Lord of the Rings, and the Goonies. Oh, you like the Goonies, Mike? Come on, this will be like your mom. You like the Goonies, don't you?
This is not going to end well for our hero.
All right. With that said, folks, I think that's it for this episode of PTR Radio. Stay tuned for the next episode where we find out if Mike can stomach a British movie. Or will he bail? Seems a little dangerous for many reasons. I love that. Yep, that's the title for this episode. Thank you for listening to Seems Dangerous for Many Reasons. Oh, I've got to remember that. Yeah, you can stay in touch with the show on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those fun places. You can also check out the show at ptrradio.com. Don't forget to sign up for the podcast. That's how you'll catch every episode in case you missed one live. If you notice this time, we only went live on Facebook. We are going to be changing a little bit of how we do things. We're only going to be going live on Facebook now. We won't be going live on YouTube because, honestly, nobody was watching. So there wasn't any use. We will post the video up on YouTube, so if you do subscribe to YouTube, you'll still catch it. You'll just catch it the next day. So it's just one way to streamline our process here. Plus, I'm going to completely redo the computers before the next show. Everybody loves it when I do that. So with that said, folks, this could be the last episode. No, it won't. We'll be back in 2 weeks. We'll be back here on the 29th. That's right. April 29th will be our next show, and it's going to be perfect. Everything will work great right out of the gate. We won't have any issues at all. I'm positive of that. So with that said, again, don't forget to check out our website, ptrradio.com. Subscribe to the podcast, all the fun stuff. With that said, I'm Shaggy.
I'm Colin.
I'm Mike the 8-Man.
All right, folks. We will see you later. Bye.